Yeah, tuanze.
Mali safi huku.
Hi guys, welcome to Youthversations. And my name is Muringo,
Kasha,
Agnes,
Ellain.
and before we start talking about the topic of the day, nataka tuseme like our favorite videos, our favorite meme, like kitu unakumbukanga inakuchekesha tu, you know? Sasa mimi ninaanza. Mimi napenda ile wazazi wako ama wako. Wazazi wako. Na wewe Kasha?
Nani atakula?
Tunasi.
yangu kuwa ni nini ladies?
Nini ladies?
Yangu kwa. It's a sound. You can go search it. Kwa.
Nakubamba.
Inakwangwa like when something has happened wrong. So ako zile za kwa.
Sasa like today we are talking about religion versus spirituality. And nataka like what do you think is religion and what do you think is spirituality according to you kama Agnes?
According to me, I think religion is a certain structure or doctrine that we put when running, mostly this, when running a spiritual, why use that word correct? But anyway, in running a spiritual organization, whereas spirituality is your personal walk with a higher deity, like when the way you walk with God, the higher being that you believe in. That is my difference between religion and spirituality.
Na wewe Kasha?
I'd say religion for me, it's like, people's experiences. You see the experience, like you look at someone, you obviously, all of us have role models. So obviously we look up to them. I think it's more of that. And spirituality is your own experience, personal experience with God. That's what I'm saying.
For me, what I would say is religion focuses on many historical previous structure plus order and organization of how things should be done in worship, on how things should be done in fellowship and worshiping with God, mostly used to like organize a large number of people, because honestly, that's where religions such as Muslims, Christianity, Buddhists, and such come from, while spirituality focuses on your innermost being, on your innermost relationship with whoever you believe as a deity, as somebody you worship.
I think religion ni organization, like religion is doctrine, structure, and vitu zinafanywa in a certain way. Lakini spirituality ni believe in something that is greater than you. Like uko na kama God, universe, au believing in cows, evil, but something that is greater than you. And like research nilikuwa naona there's a key difference between religion and spirituality. So religion is more on structure. Kama for example sisi ni Anglican, lazima uende Holy Communion kirira, lazima uende Holy Communion, uvae white, lazima ufanye marriage kwa kanisa, ndio hiyo structure. So like niko na a few questions za ku ask on this. So the first question is una think that in the current world, do you think people are more spiritual or more religious? So you know the answer for Kinyua.
Unaanza na mimi? Yeah. So personally, I think most people, okay, are we talking about demographic youth? Let me just focus on youth. what I've seen with most of the youth people, they tend to focus on more of their spiritual beings more than their religion aspect. Like, because since religion is based on structure, it's not the first time umesikia mtu akisema like nitaombea home. Mbona nikuje to that formal structure, that formal setup. Mbona nifuate the like order of service nikuwe hapa by 8:30, because that's a structure, that's religion. Kwa wengine mbona uende mosque Friday, kwa wengine mbona exactly. So for most of the youth in Christianity, as since we are focusing on us, I've seen them focusing more on wanting to be more spiritual than following the religion doctrines, mostly because even some of them may be outdated depending on where they were first introduced to.
Nimependa kitu Ellain amesema hapo kwa outdated. Tutafika hapo. Tutakuja hapo kwa hiyo outdated. Na wewe Kasha unaonaje?
I'd say most youth, according to, okay, let me say according to what I see my friends, because most of the people I work with, they go to church a lot. And I guess the reason mostly they go to church, it's because they were introduced to it since they were young, you know. When all of us were young, we got baptized. So we started to believe that this is the way, even our parents, they are good role models. So most people I prefer spirituality than religion. Most of the time. Okay, yeah, that's what I'd say.
Okay, I'll differ kidogo from the younger youth to probably the adult side when you start questioning things in your life. I actually think most people tend to follow the religion one than spirituality. Because when you want to get friends and big friends, there are certain people you will associate with because they are in church. And apparently, prosperity and some level of honor comes from religion. So it's very hard to put the difference between it's person spiritual or they are religious, because some of them hide, quote unquote, in religion because they want something. So like, let's just use the politics of our country. So every time there is election, all our MPs, our MCAs, call them, name them all, they come to church. But are they really coming to seek God? They can answer that. You see, but they're not coming to seek God. There are some of them just come because they want the validation from God, from the people of God. And also they also want the izokura. Because you know, in a spiritual gathering, everybody is created with an urge of to fulfill, to be filled by a higher being. So everybody has that. Even the most evil of the person, you will say, even the one who's in prison. So even rumor has it that even thieves, before they go to steal, they pray. And they pray that atiwasishikwe, you know. So I think most people tend to be more religious than spiritual. Because after ukienda prison, most of the people in prison are either Islam, Hindus, and Christians. You see, it's hard to get mtu mwenye hana any religion kwa hizo funny characters and behaviors. Yeah, that's my take.
Hadi mimi na agree na Agnes. I think that very many people wako religious because there's glory na kukuja church. Wewe ukiambia mtu umeenda church, because I have friends who don't go to church. Sasa Sunday asubuhi mtu ananipigia kwa kanisa. Watu bado wanaendanga kanisa. Unaona? So like I think watu wako more religious than spirituality because kuna like hiyo kakun. Okay, mimi my opinion na feel like kuna hiyo glory kukua kanisa, like majority of people, probably the youth wako different, but they are still young. Unajua lakini saizi like unajua sasa kama for example mtu mwenye ako kama Shakahola, you want to tell me there was kuna mtu ali sell like shamba yake Karen nini ndio akwe part of a religion. Si ndio? Majority of people are trying to be religious because there is glory that comes ukiwa member wa church. Kuna ule mtu wa estate yenu mna respect juu yeye ndiye wakama. Obvious. Hata wewe unaweza jiuliza saizi. Ukifanya catechism ulikuwa unajielewa? Hiyo 12 years.
Kwa tunafanya ndio tufresh.
Ndio si ulikuwa unafanya kirera ndio ufurahishe mzazi. Uvae nguo ya white, uvalishwe kitambaa,
Upewe certificate.
Na
But after all that, kuna mtu amefall out of coming to church. And I believe if I don't come to church, even if I stay at home and I will pray, as in it's okay. So you see, it's more of
spirituality. But I'm saying I agree with Agnes in the concept here. Kuna watu our young hatujafika mahali kwenye maisha inatu question. So wewe uko tu sawa, ukikosa kukuje mimi bado wewe na wewe tutakuwa friends. Ndio. Lakini sasa mtu mwingine pia anauzenga church computer. Atakosa kukuja. Hii ni biashara. Unaona? So I think watu wengi wako more religious kuliko spirituality. Alafu another thing nimesikia Agnes amesema, una feel kama kuko na a weight inakuja na kukua kwa church, like una feel kama ukikuwa praise and worship uko juu kuliko mimi mwenye sijaimbisha hapo mbele. Unaona kama kuna hiyo like wewe mwenye huimbishangi kwa kanisa na mimi mwenye naimbishanga kuna difference. Una feel hiyo kitu inakufanya ukue higher in society ama regarded higher?
Kuna difference. Because okay, I don't know, but
like unakaa kuko na difference.
Okay, all of us have come to church for one purpose, obviously, and that's to please our God. So even if kuna mtu atasema kuna acha personally naonanga kuna difference in how you like maybe I don't know, I don't have that talent. Number one. Number two, wewe umeenda kuimbisha, mimi niko hapa na naimba na wewe. But unakaa wewe ndio kuna movie like kuna hiyo faith, kuna
hiyo ndio holier than thou. Kuna mtu mwenye anaimbisha anakaa kai,
the spirit has literally landed on you. The spirit
huyu ndio wa heaven number 1. Huyu Mungu anabariki. Naweza kuwa judge kidogo. Kuna hiyo notion.
Huyu Mungu anabariki. But mtu akiwa na talent, but I always say if you have a talent and you have that talent, it's good by the way. But personally, I don't have that talent, and if I could have had one, I could not refuse to go there and sing.
Wewe Ellain unaona
sasa tutasema nini?
Lakini unajua kama for example naona mtu kama mwenye ako chairman ama treasurer kwa church ama mwenye anasimamanga kama hapo kwa church sasa ya kutolewa pesa za kanisa. Unajua first of all huo mtu lazima atoe bahasha. Huo mbaba kwa kusema mtoe lazima atoe. Kwani anawaambia mtoe na atoe? Lazima atoe. So huo mtu mnaona anakaa holier than thou compared to mimi mwenyewe sijaitoa pesa ya CBC or like church building.
Ayarudia.
Nasema like hao watu wenye wako na a role in a religious aspect. Tuseme ta Islam's imam, reverend, chairman wa church, chairman wa fellowship. Do you think they have like in normal like sasa normal people concept? Do you think watu wanawa regard in a much higher concept compared to like other people?
Hapo jibu yangu iko na a very attack basis. I don't know which angle I should speak from, but let me speak from the angle of since I have ever experienced it. I don't think they think of themselves higher because most of the time you find their positions were on election basis. It's the people who chose them. So from the people who have been elected, like the leaders, apart to reverend because I feel as if kwa clergy na that one was a personal decision and a calling. It's not like tulikuchagua. Ulienda ukapitia the education, the necessary qualifications, ndo hadi ukakuwa rev, ndo ukaanza kupewa like a distinction and all. But for these others like PCC and such, Agnes, am I wrong? They are mostly on an election basis, right? So speaking from a perspective that I've experienced it, if they were elected, for them, they will not view themselves
As
in a
higher.
higher position. But what I've noticed is with that position, with that like
Role.
nice, with that role, the people who like elected you have a different view of you, if you have come to notice, because now wamekuweka ni kama wamekuweka on a certain pedestal. So there are things you cannot be associated with not doing, and there are things you cannot be associated with doing, whether you are religious or spiritual. Whichever, if you are focusing on the religious aspect, utakuta sasa mtu wa PCC ama wa church building like the head, hezi kosa time ya nini, church building nini. Akikosa sasa na yendo anatufaa kutuambia church imefika wapi, viti ziko ama viti zimebaki imports ama viti zilibebwa na the ocean. Akikosa tutakuwa zile za who did we elect. Exactly. So I kind of feel it's not them viewing themselves, but it's the other people who put them in a high regard and position. And I think that sometimes if the position is way too, like the regard is way too high than somebody can carry or fathom, that's why you find some people are like, I don't want this leadership. Umenipea kazi mingi, unanipea expectations mingi. My life was smooth sailing. I didn't have expectations. I didn't have people looking at me. Sasa nasalimiwa na kila mtu. Na hadi sikujui karibu. Wewe ni nani? You get what I'm saying? So it comes to a point they are like, And then, hadi umenikumbusha sasa. When that drift happens, you find yourself questioning, is it worth it to come to church? Now the religious aspect there. Kujulikana, kusocialize, kuonekana. Ama is it worth it to just stay at home, have peace of mind, watch the Korean biblical teaching on KTN at 8 a.m. in the morning, and so fellowship ministry, and be okay.
Okay, my take is, I think I can give the two sides of the coin. I had the privilege, quote unquote, everything that comes in your life there's the beautiful part of it, and also there's the ugly part of it. So I got to leadership in the church at 18 when I was quite young. So it was difficult, the way you're saying, because I didn't know what I was getting into. I was chosen to become a leader, and I was leading older people, like they are 25 and I am 18. So there's that place where people are giving you so much pressure, and you can't get there. Because like now I had difficulties in being told to wear long dresses, because now I don't love long dresses. I rarely even wear long dresses. And now,
yani hadi ziko kwa wardrobe.
Na kama niko nayo, it was not my agenda. It was not my wanting, quote unquote. Sikupenda kwangu. Either my parents waliona, kuna vile mtoto havangi dresses, So I remember there's a time, I'd share this, that there's a time a person went and told my mom, she was like, hey, mtoto mwenye anaimaka prisonership siku hizi, akukasiana, kanavanga tu trouser, hakavangi dresses. Unasajua ni kanani? My mother alijibu tu vizuri sana. Hata mimi sijui ni wanani. Kwanza she said in vernacular. Hata mimi sijui ni mgani. Alikuwa amevaa nini leo? And then the lady explained how the kagal now vile nilikuwa nimevaa. Ati unajua anaimpaka vizuri sana, lakini sielewi mbona havangi trouser, havangi dress kwa kanisa. Na unajua ni main service, anakujanga kuimbisha main service na trouser. And then the irony of life, I just went to my mom again. Mommy, I was telling her something. Then the lady was so ashamed, because like she was discussing me with my mother,
and she didn't know.
So kuna hiyo two parts of the coin, where when you're young in Christianity, then you're given such leadership. Pia wewe mwenyewe haujui. And the goodness is sometimes our parents really protect us from a lot of unnecessary things. Because like there, my mom really protected me. She will tell me to wear dresses but bado mimi sikuwa nasikia na bado sikuvaa hata hiyo time. But you know, it is for us quote Christians to let people be and just let them evolve by themselves. Because I also think as a leader, we don't have, I always say it many times, no one has the epitome of perfection. No one has it. So this thing that we put on the leaders to have, we ourselves can't meet that bar. And there's a place in the Bible that says that the same measure you judge others, it will be used to judge you. So okay, mimi na judgingi person Y, anabanga anaongeanga, but if that is still judged on me, can I handle? We really judge pastors and what we are praise and worship, because we are at the front. And some of us are not even very loud people. Some of us are introverted. They're serious introverts. So most people, when you go study, those people who really have so much power after ministering, they go and sit down and they don't talk to people because they are given a gift, but in themselves, they're not that thing. That is why when you even study, apart from religion, most comedians, they tend to have depression and these anchors. Why do they get depressed? Because there is that measure and bar we put on them that it is not them. Like, tunaangalianga Lilian Bully, akona pesa mingi, all those things that we put on people. It's the same thing that we do also on religion. So we have a very high bar on pastors and pastors' kids. But they are also kids. It's just that the pressure of their father is just there before pastors' kids. But they are still kids. So kama mtoto wa so and so Ali get pregnant. Mtoto pastor peneza get pregnant because that person is a pastor's kid, because she's a kid first before she becomes a pastor's kid. The same thing to even pastors. They are men first before they became men. When you read the Bible says that I think you must have your verse, but it says that our clergy, they are chosen for men to men. So they are chosen amongst men. So lazima wakuwa wametoka kwa hiyo kikundi. Ndio uweze kurelate. Because it's very hard for a woman who is in Mother's Union akuje aongee sense kwa mtu mwenye ako young. Because hakuna hiyo affiliation, pia kuna hiyo age gap. So I also think, apart from that part of thinking that someone in praise and worship has a certain level of glory, sometimes people greet us and we don't even see them. Like, so mtu anakusalimia na haukumuona, ama mtu anakuita jina. Because when I was a bit young, hapo 18, 19, they know all my names. They know even my parents. I don't know them. And they're like, ulini ignore. Like, how did I ignore you? I don't know you. You know me. Because you see me with the microphone. But I don't know you. The microphone. So many times you'll get that someone really knows you, but they know what they hear. When you have the microphone, even now when we're talking, we are choosing what we want to say, right?
Yeah.
You can't really know someone from the way they are using their microphone because, yeah.
Okay. So hatufai put like so much pressure on like religious leaders because ni kama tu sisi ni venye
we have not been given that position in life.
Okay. Alafu nimesikia kuna kitu Ellain alisema hiyo swali ya before. Alisema ati unaweza choose kuworshipia home. Like you can choose to pray at home. Like I think there's a Bible verse that sijui kama ni Bible. Wacha niseme ni Bible verse kwa sababu inaweza kuwa si verse. Inasemanga you cannot grow without a community of Christians. Hata uombe. Okay, mimi this is my opinion sasa. Ndio sasa niulize opinion zenu. Like mimi sioni kama unaweza hata uamke every January, every Sunday in the morning, uamke ufungue TV, uchukue pen, watch Korean chingchong, uandike.
Wow.
Watch wa mtu hizo ma translations ziko hapo chini. You cannot grow the same way utagrow kikuja hapa. Like for me niligrow so much juu ya kukuja Bible study. Like mi huwezi ni compare hiyo time na sai. Like nimegrow so much. So najiuliza like can you be spiritual without being religious? That is the question. My mind left, it has come back. Can you be religious? Can you be spiritual without being religious? So unaweza kuwa like una believe in God but hauendi to a structured, hauna mutaratara,
a mode of worship.
like hata si a mode of worship,
Like fellowship with others.
Kwa sababu si bado religion ni fellowshipping with others, kutoa offertory, kujenga kanisa, kununua kiti. Like unaweza kuwa spiritual without being religious.
I think the thing is just striking the balance. Because for you to grow, there is structure.
Yeah.
And in life, there are principles. And principles are followed because, like, there are patterns that are followed that when you follow them, there is maximum growth in that route compared to another. Not negating the fact that not every doctrine makes sense.
Very true.
As she has said, that some doctrines are outdated. Of course, some of them are outdated, but we might not have the confidence to call them out. But I actually think that these structures, they are structures that really help you. You cannot grow without other people. No man is an island. You can make, I had some person saying in a podcast, the first million you make, I think they're too high probably, but the first million you can make it by yourself. But the other millions, if you are with other people, you'll make them more easily.
Okay.
And it's the same thing with even spirituality. So there are structures. These structures are for us to grow. Like when God gave us the 10 Commandments, we can say that it's doctrine. But when they were given, there was a certain kind of peace compared to the latter place. Yeah. All of us come from a family. Hata kama ni children's home, unajua kunaweza kuwa kuna orphans. Everybody comes from a family. In every family there are written and non-written rules, yeah? Na kila mtu ako na role yake kwa hiyo familia. I actually think the problem is not the religion. The problem is following structures that don't make sense. Because like the one for Shakahola, that you're telling someone to fast until they die and they see God. It is I don't know. I want to use a light word and nakosa a word. But let me just use it. It's lunatic. It's madness. Like, why do you tell me that I should fast until I see God?
Fast.
And this person says that they are a pastor and they read the Bible. Fast. Like, where is that verse in the Bible?
Sure.
Even Jesus did not fast to see God for 40 days. You see, so it's for us to look at religion and question where we should question. And strike the balance to know what to follow until where. Because in this life, you have your spiritual being, your physical being, your emotional being, and your intellect. It's for you to strike a balance. And anytime you use one, you surpass one to the other, there'll be an imbalance. Because you can't say you will be sleeping in church every single day, you not work. You will say that if you don't work, you should not eat. So that's my take.
So unafaa to strike a balance between spirituality and religion.
To add on, I feel like if you're fasting, it should be from your heart. Like it's your personal decision. You've decided I want to fast. So no one should ever force you to do something that you don't feel like you're supposed to do it.
For me, a question. Why do you think people prefer now the spiritual version of like, I can just learn the word of God by myself without coming to the so-called structures? Why do you think that there is a preference to that? Because of course there are people who will be like, yeah, a majority of them. So why do you think there's that?
I think ni juu unajua church iko na mambo mingi. Tukumbuke hata kama yetu, for example, utoa offering, utoe tithe, utoe thanksgiving, utoe kiti, kidogo umalize uweke kabro, and then unajua church itaisha, hii church tutajenga tumalize, si ndio? Haya tukae tuweke kabro hapo nje. Haya Mothers Union wanataka kuenda kama ndio hiyo. Unajua ukikaa chini unapiga hesabu kuna mtu anaona wacha tu nisikize tu chingchong hata nitatolea huo chingchong hapa tu ama tu me I know a person who they listen to the church akiwa home na tatolea pesa akiwa home but hata kuja church. I think church iko na a lot like alafu and then again church is a community like Ellain unaona venye mimi na wewe tumejuana tunakuwa friends kuna saa tunakuja tuna hang out sa church is a community. Sasa imagine hauna hiyo community kanisani kwenu so ukitoka church unaenda huko direct unajua utafeel kama how belong so wewe utasema wacha basi nikange home. So I think it is one that church ni kama like church iko na mambo mingi venye Agnes anasema ni wewe unafaa kuchoose ku strike a balance. Sasa kama mimi nitatoa aje pesa ya church building sina hata ya tithe na tithe iko kwa Biblia na sina uko employed ni CBC unaona but sasa mimi najua sina so like ikifika mali nikuwe na ya tithe na nikuwe na ya CBC nitatoa hata 5 envelopes but saizi nachukua tu one envelope na hiyo nimepewa na mzazi unaona ikifika wakati ya tithe alitoa tithe. So I think church inakam na a lot niwe uchoose where ku strike your balance. I think hiyo ndio kitu moja mimi ninajua watu kidogo wanakosa kukuja kuhusu like
I also think church heart. Okay, that's a heavy word but it's heart.
Church heart.
And we actually think that in religious spaces we will not be hurt. But these people who are in religious spaces aren't they human beings?
Yeah.
If you're hurt in your family, of course pia church pia unaweza kuwa hurt. So we have really kwanza in our generation especially Gen Z kidogo millennials we have really magnified church hurt. But it is not church hurt, it is just hurt.
Ni venye imefanyika kwa church.
Yes, because these people who are hurting you, believe you me mpaka kwenye wako job wana hurt watu wengine.
You're not the only victim.
Wewe si victim yako.
Hapa ni kama mnafanya wengine tu unleash trauma. There's a lot of trauma.
So there's that. There's also when you come to in a space of social people, there's also a person who's not very correct. Like, how do I say? Their character is questioning. Like, character yake, inakata, So, but most of us, when we come to church for solace and comfort, right? So, we think, we have a fallacy, a facade, that in the church, we will not get hurt as much as outside the church, as much as our family, as much as our job places. Unajua kuna siku kuna toxic workplace, So mtu akisikia hivi ataki kufanya job ana quit. Quit. And I think we just need to get to a place of maturity and allowing ourselves to grow. Understanding that all of us are flawed. Like, we are human beings, we are flawed. We have our weaknesses, And when you understand that we have our weaknesses, so hata ukikuja una-expect unaweza ubizwa na mtu yote, And when you understand that, alafu when you have the light, let me get to Christianity kidogo, to tell God to help you see your weaknesses. When you're able to mirror yourself correctly and see the ones that are in you, you will of less minimize the way you judge people.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my take. Because ukichunguza vizuri either ni church hurt, ama societal, ama your parents. Kwanza siku hizi kuna mpaka inherited trauma. Mzazi wako anakumbia alifanyiwa na mama nani, So when you look at it, the problem with not coming to church is probably hizo ama hawakufunzwa structure. Because even in our families, kunafaa kuwa na structure. Wezi amka asubuhi uanze kuita baba yako babe, my dear, my darling, my love, huwezi, but umezita mama yako my love. You know. So I think for us to just embrace the world na tuache kukaa kwa facade ya kile tunafikiria. Everybody, when we were young, I don't know if you had that, when we were young, ulikuwa na mama ya Mary anapenda Mary, mama yangu hanipendi. Baba ya John anapenda John, but there is my father hanipendi. And ukikaa hivi later on usikize stories za hawa watoto wenyewe walikuwa na toys mingi sana. Ukichunguza wazazi wao hawakuwa available, walikuwa na possible sana, so sasa jaribu ku overcompensate in something else, because hakuna mtu mwenye akona hiyo balance ya everything.
Hata nataka ku add kitu kwa hiyo kitu ya church hat. Like I think umekuja church juu ya God. As in sawa Ellain atanikanyanga ama Ellain atasema kitu kunihusu, but nani umekuja kanisa juu ya God. So wewe mtu mwenye amekukosea, enda uombe God the next Sunday, wacha kukaa nyumbani. Kuja the next Sunday, come and that God give me the spirit of forgiveness. Because lazima utakuwa like church ni venye iko na msalaba. Hii inaweza kuwa hata kesho theater tukitoa cross pale mbele. So like wacha kukari hiyo kitu ya aliniumiza so sitaenda church. Umeenda church juu ya Mungu na unafaa kuwa consistent na huo Mungu wako.
But pia kuna wale if my friend is not coming for my
by the way, especially 19s 20s young people.
Nani yako church?
Nani yako church?
Kama hayuko
nani ana preach?
Nani
anaimbisha praise and worship leo? Of course kuna watu wenye kama si nani anaimbisha praise and worship, mimi sitaimba. Kama si nani anaimbisha worship, mimi
takachi
sitaomba. Huyo anaomba pray. Anaomba I know.
Oya kishika mic tutasimama the whole service.
So na choose kukaa okay. I think kitu naweza fanya nikose kuja church ni weather.
Unaona sasa pia pia ni
mimi nikishaona mvua hivi blanket na change though. Really change.
Kwa hiyo yote. Sitaguzia basi. I've been a victim of church hurt because mnanionanga tu hivi nimefurahi. Happy soul. Like I remember there was a time like I absconded even coming to church for about a year. The real ones noticed. The others they were like, Ellain alipotea, Ellain akarudi. Kiasi Ellain kurudi, Ellain akapewa leadership. Because zile za okay.
Mungu alikuground.
Najaribu kukumbuka kitu yenye ilinifanya nianze kurudi after the church because there was a lot of confusion, mainly because leadership started very early for me when I hadn't even like comprehended fully religion, spirituality, Christianity. I was the definition of book Christian. What does the Bible say? The Bible says this. I'll do this. I won't even interpret more than what is. Like hakutakuwa na further explanation. So that one, of course, among the youth, among the teens when you are young and you are very like
vocal.
One, very vocal. Two, very much out-touched with them because they are living their teenhoods and you are focused on because of that pressure and that leadership and blah blah blah. It led to a lot of church hurts. That's the only way to say it. It led to a lot of church hurts. So I remember there was a time, honestly, it's like almost immediately after high school, I was like, I'm done. Nisikie leadership anywhere. Utaje jina yangu anywhere. I'm done. I do not want to hear my name. Mi nataka kukuwa naenda kanisa. Naanda nikajitengenezea like aka space uko nyuma because I've been there for like a long time. Mi nataka kuenda kanisa, nikienda natoka na left. And I did that for like a year plus because I remember the time I started sasa rudi vizuri. kuna siku tu nilikaa wakatengeneza groups, nikakuta nimeongezwa kwa group hadi sikuuliza mbona mmeniongeza. Kiasi group leader at that time was Japheth. Akozileza nataka kujua huyu Ellain ni nani. Akakuja akanistua mimi, nikamwambia wewe mimi sitaki mambo ya hizi groups. I remember even like tukiongea ndo tukuje tukukua friends later on. Our first interaction was very harsh because me I was like against all types of friendship. I was like no, nitoe kwa hiyo group ya church number 1 2 wacha mimi niende home. Exactly, but sasa niko hapa. Yeah. Sasa tuweke another non-serious topic.
Breathe sana. I think.
Like this?
Come
Okay. Would you date a man who is not Christian? Would you marry a person who is not a Christian?
No. Like sasa utaanza aje like meta sionangi like sasa utaanza. Wewe.
Nikwambie pale utaanza.
Hata utaanza aje?
Utaanza na delusionship.
Like sasa ni kama Muslim akuja niambia you know ati jaba no this no way we kama meta nasemanga I know this is very biased but nasemanga I just prefer Anglican, PCA, Catholic. Mimi hizi kanisa za Shantarabo I'm not very 100%. Like mimi I think my experience in high school kuona watu wakianguka wametolewa daimono umenyanalala juu umenyanalala juu yangu usiku anaanza kusema aliona mimi mpaka saizi niko na trauma. Unajua mwenye alikuwa analala juu yangu alikuwa analala juu yangu kuna siku a whole week ameamka akisema sijui a spirit hadi nikahama hata bed. Mimi hiyo kitu mpaka saizi naonanga tu unajua like hata kama like in like this Catholic, PCA, Anglican kama we speak in tongues it's not as often that utasikia mtu kwa service ameamka akasema speak in tongues. So I feel like iko more personalized. So if you have that gift of the Holy Spirit iko na wewe you know hata kasi kucontrol iko na huo mtu. Sasa wewe umeshaenda kanisa kila mtu anaanza umekaa unaangalia kwani where am I? So for me I think I would not date a person who's not Christian and I would specify a certain doctrine for my mental health.
Actually it's much because it also limits the type of inaitwaje difficulties ama makosano zenye mtapatana nazo na hadi mkikosana at least there's similarities in what you believe in, so it's easier to come back than kuambiwa wewe enda kwako. Wewe wa Muslim enda kwako.
At least kuna hiyo like we wake up we go to church.
Tuna match nguo.
Amen.
Sasa mmekasirikiana. Tuna match nguo tumekaa hapo tunaambiwa tell your neighbor.
Unaangalia neighbor yako anakupea saida.
Lakini mko na hiyo kitu na wadau. Lakini I think for me is a no. Wewe Agnes.
That's a difficult question because there is the practicality of the matter and there is roho pigadamu. When I was, I think, up in my 18, that was
in
my
your
reasoning.
In your prime.
I think that was my thinking. But I also think I was a bit reserved, so I didn't really experience dating. Me, I used to bros on everybody. Like, I don't think when I was quite young I had that. But I'd say wisdom says you should just date a Christian.
Yeah.
Wisdom dictates.
You should date a
delusionship dictates.
But there is hapa nimwambia kwa roho kupiga damu. You know, it's so funny because when you speak things and the practicality of the matter. Because I have also experienced Christians who are Christians and they are not Christians, you know. And we know for sure they are not Christians because what they are telling us to do. Not Christ-like. So nowadays I dig further to the Christianity you're talking about.
Okay.
Si wale wa kupatia verses.
Because pia unajua I had a verse I'd say what a short whatever by a Nigerian pastor and I really loved his thinking and he was saying you need a husband and not a man of God.
Okay.
What you need is a husband. You know, husband. But, yes. But because all of us, most of us ladies, we have an illusion of a man who does not and will never exist. Because you want a person who is prayerful. Like the pastor. But he's an accountant. How will he be prayerful like the pastor? He's an accountant. You know, he works in media. So, yani unajua vitu zingine tunataka haziko, you know. So it is for us to just pray for wisdom to strike the balance because you will want tall, dark and handsome. But when you will be arguing, how is the tallness going to help you? Because now we are arguing, he's tall and he's dark.
See, heavy handsome. What handsome?
How
you argue with somebody ugly?
No, you will just
also nafurahi ukoseleza. I choose well.
I actually think beauty is in your mind. As you get older, you will see that because there is someone who is very handsome, and everybody hapa kwa barabara wanamwangalia. But when you are given that person for 1 hour, you return to the owner.
Back to sender.
Yes, because the kind of funny things and reasoning yake akina wengine mpaka wamesoma wako na degree lakini kaujinga kako very exaggerated. Yes, na kuna mtu mwingine alifika form 4 akina mkiongea unaona at least hata mnaweza build future na huyu, but kuna mwingine alisoma lakini ni kama
school fees
application of the knowledge kuna vile ilileft
kuna connection pahali haifanyi.
That is what I think. Alafu pia hapo part ya wife. Unajua saa zingine pia I think men wanatakanga hao wasichana wanabanga praise and worship. Wanatakanga hao ama watu wenye wanakaa wasupu. Unajua kuna kukaa msupu na kuna hiyo character supu. You know, hizo ni vitu mbili tofauti. So I was really challenged by that pastor saying that you need a husband and not a man of God. Because sielewangu mbona wanawake wanapiganianga wachungaji. You know, how old are you will know why women want wachungaji.
Stop. Nani alipiganiwa tuanze
kupiganiwa. But I'm saying the way in your mind you will want a person why to marry you when you hear them talk. But you don't talk and their real personality is different. So when we're saying about Christianity, I think first way the person badala ya uolewe na mtu ukute huyo hata ako immoral, hata shetani akiona character ya huyo mtu atakimbia because so I think when we say Christianity, let's weigh what is the bar that we are using to measure Christianity.
Meta niko na swali hapo. For me, naona kama kuna a level. Now this is me as Muringo. I think there's a level of spirituality in a husband. Yenye inaweza nisikia. Like unajua kuna wale watu wako okay. Unajua kuna watu acha mimi as Muringo. Mimi attack guys. Mimi kama for example, unaona wale watu wanamkanga asubuhi wanaomba. Mimi nakumkanga kuomba kwa mat. Nilikuwa nimekaa kwa lufa. I was supposed to pray in the morning. Lakini sasa kuna mtu ana pray in the morning, anataka mu hold hands mukipray. Me I think your level of spirituality inanifanya niwe scared. Kwa sasa nitamatch hata si in like a partner, hata in friends. Like kuna friends wako spirit, yani they have really walked with God to a point where wamefika hapo. So for me kidogo inaweza nisikia. Sasa ndio hata hiyo ni swali lenye nauliza, like una feel kama kuna a level of spirituality in a person to in any person enye inaweza kushtua like mtu guy amefika hapo. Oi guy hata si shantarabu. See you like hiyo amefika hapo kwa their walk with God where they pray every time. Okay, not every time, but like
So there's a level you can see that it's quite too high for you that you're like, how do I match this?
I feel like you should talk it out, and then you guys know, like, if he's the one who has that
level of spirituality,
like obviously there's a way he started it, so all of you can just sit down, talk about it, and then
muone kawe utafika hapo. Nakumbuka
I feel it's possible.
Nakumbuka kuna siku niliask rafiki yangu, unaweza huwa msichana mwenye ako huko kwa mimi akisioni kama nitawezana na huyo wa huko mbele. Wacha huyu wa kukaa hapa kando na mimi nitawezana.
Can you limit watu ni the fact that unaangalianga maisha yako. Unafanya 1 2 3 na unaangalia venye this person carries themselves, the same high standards we put to people, and then you are like, huyu sita match.
Okay, but I want to differ. Mara mingi sana nimechajiwa hivyo, lakini reality haiko hivyo. So I think get to just know the person. Because when like ndasemaje, like probably mkiniita kwa hii mlikuwa mnafikiria nitawapatia very deep whatever stuff.
Mimi one of them.
Nilikuwa guilt trip, sindio? I don't think hiyo ni iko, because I also think I've interacted with a lot of clergy. Nilisomea shule hapo juu kulikuwa na clergy school. So at least tulipitiana kidogo sana na hao wachungaji. So I think get to understand the person, understand their heart, because after these iron ladies, when you listen to their love language, you will be shocked. Because kenye mnafikiria na reality haiko. Unaona, unaweza ona hata mtu anakaa kwa a very big, probably kama our leaders wakubwa, politicians, ukisikia love languages zao unashtuka, because others just want to tell kababa. Seriously. Wataka kuitwa kababa
kila asubuhi ama kila time.
Umekunywa maji kajuice, uliweza kuomba asubuhi, how has your day been? So I think the thing is, get to understand the person and don't have the illusion of what you see someone apo kwa pulpit, ama kwa top managing some things, ama kwa big companies, because some of us, we are given, I'd say all of us are given everything we have. We are given. Kama mimi, I'd say the one who has really mentored me is my dad. And he probably is very hard for you to see him talking hapo kwa kanisa. And he's the one who has mentored you, me. So I think it is just get to know the person. If it's a guy, get to know them. If you love someone, I think one of my closest friends is Mary. And I also think probably ukienda uambie Mary, umwambie vile unafikiria ati amupa spiritual, atakwambia bongo, sio agi, because get to understand the heart of a person. The heart of a person is not the illusion that you have. Because even when we get to the altar, people who have been in the altar can tell you, you can start singing and then the Spirit of God comes. You can start preaching and then the Spirit of God comes. Like it's something that you can't explain. Umekuwa saizi kusoma notices, sasa zingine unaenda hapo unafokosa, yani kile kitu unasikia hapana. Lakini ukitoka hapo mpaka like mimi ndio nimesoma notices, mimi is it me? Yes, because ukiwa mbele ya watu, there is something that is like a gift that is nurtured for you to get to that level. So get to know the person.
Sasa as we conclude, would you advise someone to be more spiritual ama more religious? Ama do you think like religion and spirituality complement each other such that like ata kama I'm growing in my personal journey with God, I can decide to become mina hawa tunakaanga ho, mina waitanga sofa set ministry hawa kuhubiria kwa nyumba. Ni sofa set ministry, hiyo si kanisa. So like, would you, hata kama you're going to stay at home like one Sunday, the next Sunday you should come, like they complement each other. So what would you advise someone? Ama tuangalie ipande kwanza.
Mimi kwanza, I'm very biased to the sofa set ministry because honestly, I have come to realize there are people who have come to know more about religion, God, and all that, starting from the sofa set. So one, I'm not even against it. Tuanzie hapo, I'm not against the sofa set ministry because within that time you question yourself. Hakuna mtu wa kukuja ku like shove the ministry of God and all down your throat, one, because one, it's your choice. Two, with that you come to learn of what you want to do. Because most of the time you usually realize, as much as they will not come later on, as much as I was once there, nilijipata church at the end. Exactly. So I believe that sofa set ministry has its guys, to make a whole one. Sofa set ministry has a way of reaching onto people who wouldn't even be in church, ama in church, ama in spirituality as well.
So it's unaweza start from there alafu una grow. So you allow yourself to grow. Okay, key point.
Okay. I feel like if you started from Kitambo to church, I don't see a reason why you should stop, first of all. It's make it a habit. If you make it a habit, then after one utasikia hata kukaa home. So I feel like kama ulianza kwenda church to Kitambo, uendelee tu.
Okay.
My take is community is very important. Kwa sababu ukilose mtu, pastor wa TV hata kuja kukuzikia your parents. That is a very hard truth. They can lay hands on you on the TV and get healed, but ikifika ni burial, mtaenda kukomboa pastor huko kwa uko Langata. So tukue ni vizuri kukuwa na your balance. Community is very important. Then there are things that just you need a pastor. Baptism mtoto utaenda kupelekea nani? Pastor wa online mwenye Joshua Selman. Utapelekea Joshua Selman mtoto wako. You know. So I think fellowship is very important. And also think about those things. Una vitu zenye in life, ukipata mtoto, marriage, wedding, utafanywa na Joshua Selman akiwa Nigeria. You know, there are things. So community is very important. It is very important. You might dismiss it because of the pastor wako wa church. Kwa kichwa yako unafikiria si deep kama Joshua Selman. Lakini ukiwa kwa hizo maharakati ndio utajua haja huyo pastor wako mwenye unafikiria sio deep. That's my take.
For me, I also think they complement each other. Like lazima you, even if you will grow as a Christian separately, spiritually, you will grow spiritually. You still need a community. Like lazima, yani uwezi utasoma Bible ujiinterpreti. Like utakanga tu ukijua Bible says sijui honor your father and mother, wewe unakwanga umejiwekea ma wrong things zako huko kwa kichwa. So like I think they have to complement each other. Like you can work your personal journey, but community, hata kwa sasa utafanya aje harusi na ujana, hata flower girl hata tuseme sasa harusi utafanya bila burial baptism, hata una watu extra wa kupea mchele harusi yako juu una wa community, we changamka. So I think tumemaliza hapo, unless kuna kitu nataka ku add.
Tutafanya part 2.
But I think like ni very important kukuwa na church, kukuwa na community. Alafu sasa like neza like after maneno final message jaanza.
the world might benefit from more people being both spiritual and religious. A balance can foster love, compassion, and understanding, echoing Jesus' command to love one another.
Very nice. Very Ellain. Final word.
My final word would be whichever way you choose to find yourself with whichever belief, whether it's through spirituality or religion, but at the end of the day, umefika kwa the way. Haina shida. Like, because najua there are people who are out there who usually question themselves. So like, whichever way you use, so long as the end goal is the same, the end goal is to get closer to your deity and to get to the right track, then you're good to go.
I'd say know God for yourself. Not the God of your parents. As much as it is good, know God for yourself. Second thing, understand that you're flawed and you are in a process to know God, to be Christ-like. And when you understand that, it will be easy for you to accommodate people and also forgive yourself and strike the balance.
Strike the balance. There's something that I read somewhere. It said love is the law and religion is the lie. And the law is love. And for me, I think God is love. So the law is God. So your role is to believe in God. Wewe, kama ukwenu munaenda catechism, weenda catechism. But the goal is God. If whatever you're doing in whatever you believe in does not end, the end game is not God, then I don't think you should be doing it. So like love is the law and religion is the lie. Asijasema musiende kanisa, wewe, uende kanisa, but at the end of the day, love is the law, and for me, love is God. So like you should consistently grow with God. Yeah, I think we are done. So as we finish, please like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Yes, usikize yote mpaka mwisho. Hata na hii ndio mwisho. Bye guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.